field. Bills have it after adjustment. First and 10, that's deflected and picked off Mosley. He'll take it in.
Now, stiff arm and he throws down the defender.
Stiff arm to crap out of Drake Kirkpatrick right there.
Going down again. It's Q. Ren Williams.
Fighting through contact, fighting through offensive line, being a double team, multiple moves stacked into one. Just a play of pure domination. This is actual film. This is actual football talk. It's a football show. We're supposed to talk football, not storylines. And you are listening to another edition, the 17th edition? Yes, the 17th edition of Blewett Blitz. Today I have 35 plays of Mical Perine, the Jets' 4th-round pick, running back from Florida. Next show will be Bryce Hall with Marcus Coleman. It took me a little bit to get that film. Marcus ended up getting it for me. I'm not saying from who, but he got it for me. We have 37 plays of him, I believe, all 22 angles. Not a lot of close-ups, so some of it is pretty far away, but definitely a good view of Hall instead of watching the highlights on YouTube where it's like 4-minute video with 3 minutes of them being tackles. And if it is a pass deflection, you don't necessarily see how he got to that pass deflection. So you have all 22 angles of that, which is pretty exciting. An exciting player, so he'll be next week. And then after that, we'll see who's going to be. The only 3 draft guys I have left after Perine and Hall is Becton, Morgan, and Clark. And both Morgan and Clark have 2 or 3 games on YouTube. I'm going to search from the all 22 I have. I'm not sure if any of the defenses I have intersect with Charlotte or FIU. I doubt it, but I'll look and see. And then after that, I'm going to look into guys like Guidry, Jackson, Huff, Campbell, and Cager and see how much I could find on them. If I can't find a ton on them, maybe I won't do a review. If I can, maybe it'll be a short review, 15, 20 plays of the undrafted guys. I don't want to spend 2 hours on a guy who might not make the team like Lamar Jackson, but we'll see about that. Other than that, the normal housekeeping, JRB31 on Twitter. I've been a little bit not as active as I was the last couple of weeks just because I worked like 7 of the last 8 days and working midnights. And even like yesterday, work midnights, usually going to bed at 9 o'clock in the morning, waking up at like 3. Yesterday, I go to bed at 3:30, wake up at 5:30, and I'm like wired. So I didn't want to do a show on 2 hours of sleep. Even today, it's not a lot, but got to get a show out. So I haven't been as active, but I have 37 plays prepped of Hall. I have about 30 plays of Becton, I believe, a lot of them being all 22 angle pass sets. A lot of the run stuff is in my old show. So if you go back, Blewett Blitz and watch that, that's a lot of the running and his strengths and weaknesses listed there. I just wanted to update people on the pass sets and the stuff I found from the all 22 I was afforded with. So that'll be about 30 plays as well. JetsXFactor.com. You have my film there. You have some of Sabo's articles. You have Nania and all of his numbers. He did a film show with Tom Hennessy about long snapping and special teams, which is interesting if you're interested in that. Did a show with Huff, the outside linebacker from Memphis. So that's pretty interesting as well on this channel that you'll be watching this. So I'm sure you already saw it, but Bryce Huff is a guy who I think he was given the most of the guaranteed money of the undrafted guys. So a guy with some legit speed and burst and twitch off the edge. So he's probably has the best shot of all the undrafted guys to make it. They did a show with him breaking down his own film. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. Jet X Shop is the store. McGovern t-shirt, GM Joe Douglas t-shirt, Jamal Adams, Sam Darnold t-shirt, Captain Morgan t-shirt, Becton t-shirt, Connor McGovern t-shirt. Not wearing one today. I think I have like 4 or 5 shirts. Today is the Le'Veon Bell. Since we are watching a running back and he'll be backing up Le'Veon Bell, I figured that it fits. So I always try to tie a jersey into it. I think I'm going to stop buying jerseys, to be completely honest. They go away too quick. Like, am I going to ever wear this after Le'Veon Bell most likely leaves next year? Probably not. Maybe once I get my permanent man cave, I'll be hanging up all my jerseys, the ones I'm not going to wear anymore. But I feel like Le'Veon Bell is a good one to have. But I think that's about it for the housekeeping type stuff. There could be more. I'm just forgetting it. But to get into Mical Perine and his strengths and weaknesses, some of his, I guess, his height, weight stuff. 5'11", 216, 4.62, 40-yard dash, 22 bench reps, which is pretty strong for running back, I believe. 35-inch vert, 118-inch broad, so he's a decent athlete. 4.62. I think that's a little bit slower than his playing speed. I don't think he's a burner. I do think he has decent speed, and a lot of people are hung up on, a player in Perine who necessarily doesn't excel at one thing, but is an all-around guy, but doesn't have great explosion. Listen, the NFL is mostly a split back league. We're gonna have two guys, and I think he's a starter in or a potential starter in that role, where you have him and maybe you have a guy who's more explosive, like a Coleman or whoever in the league you want to say is that more explosive guy, Breda, one of those guys. So I think he'll be like a 1A, 1B going forward. Not this year, obviously, when you have Le'Veon Bell running behind a better offensive line. I think he'll excel. They'll most likely get rid of him next year, even though I think if he does excel this year, I think it might be worth even keeping him. You have Gore, so I'm sure Le'Veon Bell, Mical Perine is not going to get a ton of carries, but I would like to see him be the number 2. But if not, he's a 4th-round pick who's going to be learning behind Le'Veon Bell and Frank Gore. So I think he has a lot of traits that could be kind of or that are consistent with a 1A, 1B type guy. I don't get too hung up on speed with running backs. Like, there's plenty of guys with speed, Trenton Cannon, who don't really make it. I don't think he's ever going to be an Ezekiel Elliott or a Derrick Henry with his raw power, or, whoever else you want to talk about, Barkley or Bell or whoever. Even though Bell is really just an all-around guy too. He's not really a burner, but he's extremely powerful and he can make extremely quick cuts for how big he is, and that's why he's so good, plus his patience. So I don't think Perine will be one of those guys, but talking about just a guy on the Jets team who is obviously not his former self at being 37, 38 years old now, and Frank Gore. But what does Frank Gore really excel at? Where did Frank Gore really excel at in his early career, which made him so good and a potential Hall of Fame guy? Well, it's really his longevity over his career, not necessarily just 1 year, but he wasn't necessarily a guy who was extremely explosive or extremely powerful. He's just a really good, smart running back, which Frank Gore, like I said, might be a Hall of Famer. And I'm obviously not comparing Perine to Gore, but just in terms of their kind of good at everything but excel at nothing, or overly excel at one trait, it doesn't mean that Mical Perine can't be a really good running back. I don't think that's true for running backs necessarily. I look at guys at running back, like I said, with Gore, or there's wide receivers out there who aren't necessarily a stellar athlete but are really, really good. Like Michael Thomas, like he has size, but he's like a 4-5 guy, or Keenan Allen is a 4-5 guy, So I would get too hung up on numbers. I don't really care too much about numbers, but going into his strengths and weaknesses, contact balance, and this is his strengths first: contact balance, vision, churns, falls forward for extra yardage, knows mostly when to concede rush, drop pads, and fight for extra yards, sets up blocks well, patient in backfields, letting blocks develop, solid route runner, good hands, manipulates defenders, leading to cleaner lanes or blocks for teammates, power in lower half, quick to burst through open gaps, doesn't dance around in backfield, enjoys contact, smooth runner in terms of carrying speed through changes and angles, which I like, solid acceleration, willing pass protector. Sorry, like I said, I'm a little bit gassed right now, but we're gonna get through this. Weaknesses: short area, change of direction, burst, one cut runner, not always a bad. And I put that in parentheses, not always a bad thing. Doesn't force a ton of misses with wiggle. Would like to see him shorten stride while on backfield at times. Lateral burst. Can get caught running high, limiting quick change direction, stopping ability. Sudden cuts versus quick penetration could be a little bit of an issue. Not often, but have seen some examples of him conceding rush too early with lanes open. Change direction is average. Pass protection needs work with technical sides of blocking, which I'll show a little bit, not too much. Overall explosion, top end speed is lacking. But then I put in parentheses again, like I just spoke about, which I even remember I put on here, is overrated overall for running backs, in my opinion. So let's get into some of his film. I just going to give me a second to pull it up. Like I said, 35 plays. Nope, 35 plays. The first play too that I'm going to bring up is not necessarily how I necessarily wanted to start the review with a pass block, or is it a pass block? I actually don't think it's a pass block. He might be like a lead blocker right here. Yes, they run QB power, and it's something that I wanted to mention. It showed up really early in the film where they're playing Miami right here. So it's not something I just wanted to necessarily just skip over. But I do like that he's a willing run blocker and a pass blocker. I saw him sometimes at Florida being a lead blocker on a power, on whatever play it might have been. But mostly it's on like power QB runs type deals, and he is a willing blocker in that sense. So I think if you do have split running backs with him and Gore, him and Le'Veon Bell, he could definitely be a lead blocker, and he's definitely a willing blocker, and he will drop his shoulder into guys, as you see right here. Does a good job, obviously dropping his shoulder, staying on the upfield shoulder and letting the quarterback get outside, getting low, and pops that linebacker. He stands up to linebacker, which is good. The quarterback just falls forward for a yard because it's 4th and 1 right here, and he picks up that yard. So nothing crazy there. It's just something that showed up really early in the review. So I wanted to show that. Let's see the next play. TH good read. All right, I don't know what I mean by that. All right, so you have zone in the front. The front side, you have the pin and fold right here, pin and fold on the back side. Perine's he's going to the mesh point. He's reading the D end, and his eyes are going to flash into the one tech right there, the A gap. He sees that the A gap got defensive tackle is penetrating hard. Eyes flash inside. Now, this is the one thing where I talk about like his quick change of direction. Like there's running backs out there who would be able to drop even a yard or two before this, where they're going to take the handoff and drop right here, and you can see how he has to hop forward a little bit, and you can see it. You can see his right leg right here, it buckles, and then he's forced to take like an extra step, like right. So if he had a really great change of direction, he would stop even right here and then explode back inside. Like there's running backs who can do this. Nick Chubb, even Le'Veon Bell, all the top, Ezekiel Elliott, Barkley, those guys can do this. Like I said, with him, he doesn't have necessarily the quickest change of direction, the quickest stopping ability. So here you can see he hops into that. His leg buckles. He ends up bumping legs with his the center. I'm not sure if the center steps on his foot right here. I always want to be fair with that stuff. If I see it, I will call it, because there's a lot of guys who will be out there and they'll put up highlight plays on Twitter of a guy getting trucked over, and it's like, okay, well, he got trucked over, but he also tripped over his other offensive lineman's legs. So is it really how great is that for the defensive lineman? Same thing with the running backs. I want to be fair. If I do see step or his feet getting stepped on here, I'm not sure, but that's irregardless. It's still a play where I would like to see him, whether it be shorten his stride right here before he takes the handoff as he sees the A gap penetration, or just like I said, with that natural cutting ability. But you see how he really hops forward right there, an extra yard or two, and still his legs buckle and he's not able to get inside, or not able to get inside cleanly. So he does get the handoff and he does get inside, but he could have done it more cleanly. So yeah, it's a good read. I like that his eyes are proper with his reads, going from the outside to the inside, sees the penetration, drops the hips and gets inside, but you'd like to see it be a little bit more clean. So good vision after that, though. He reads the blocks. He sees that obviously number 53 is going to try to scrape over top right here. He's going to try to get underneath that and outside. He does get underneath it, but you have the edge defender right here who cleans it up. But I'll play it in full speed again. This is some of the lack of change of direction, but overall a good play. You can see how he's going to continue churning for more yards. He breaks that tackle, and he always fights for extra yardage, which you definitely like in a running back. That's something that underrated, but Bilal Powell was really good at doing that, really falling forward for an extra yard or two throughout his career. Frank Gore is good at doing that. Le'Veon Bell, honestly, there's a lot of running backs who are good at that, but it is a need or a trait that I look for. There's guys who will go down pretty much immediately. McGuire, there's a reason he's not on the Jets anymore, even though I thought he was a little bit overlooked by Jets fans, in my opinion, Elijah McGuire. I thought he was decent, but just like Le'Veon Bell running behind a really bad offensive line, he didn't succeed. So Elijah McGuire, who's about a 6th-round pick, I didn't see him succeeding much with the Jets because of the offensive line. There's some stuff that he could have obviously done better, but I don't want to get into an Elijah McGuire tangent. But people just thought he was garbage, which he wasn't. Okay, so this is similar as last time. Another you have the inside zone right here. Looks like he's reading the email first as he's taking handoffs. Eyes flash inside again, and the right guard gets backdoored. I don't think he was expecting to get backdoored. This is why you don't want to see big steps of offensive linemen within that contact window. I really don't like big stepping offensive linemen. It could be how it's coached. It could be whatever, but I don't like it. I really want to see it. In this scenario, I like to see him, instead of taking like that 0 step right there, just work upfield right through him and just split this leg into him. So at least you'd be able to get contact, but I like that 0 step and a lot of load up into that punch. But again, we're not doing right guards right now, but not a good block from the right guard. He gets backdoored. You have Perine who sees it. He is able to drop his hips a little bit better this time. But again, you can see like some of that dead time right there to get out of that cut. He's not bad at getting out of cuts, but he's just not great at it. So he is able to read it, get back inside and jump through it, which I like. So he breaks that tackle, comes forward for extra yards, drops his shoulder right there. And it looks like the good thing about this play too is, and I'm really just running through these plays as I watch it with you guys. Another thing I like right here is that he's going to cover the ball with both arms, and he sticks his forearm out right there. And he ends up breaking that tackle, or no, he doesn't break that tackle. Sorry. So he does stick the forearm out there, while he does turn forward for extra yardage. But when you're pumping out your forearms like that, it's really acting as like a shock absorber. So if your arms are tight into your body, your whole body's absorbing that blow. As if you stick your forearms out, your arms absorb that blow, and then your body absorbs less of it, and you're usually able to run forward for more yardage. So that's what you'll see a lot of running backs in that contact window throw a forearm out there because it acts as a shock absorber. So good play by him there. I'll play it in full speed. Again, you see some of the lack of change of direction, but that's still a pretty good play. Like to take that handoff as quick as he does, drop his weight and hop inside for what could have been easily a 2-yard loss right here. He makes it a 2-3 yard gain. So good play by Perine right there to make that play. So let's see what this play is. Lack of athleticism duo. I put lack of athleticism with a question mark, so I'll have to watch this again. This is what I see when I. Okay, yeah. So plays like this, it's where some of it shows up where they're running this duo, where the everybody's gonna block down. He's gonna go to that play side. Again, takes the handoff. You'd like to see more. So I like that his right foot right here is opening up. You want to see the foot of the direction you want to go in open up to allow your hips to get through. When guys have straight feet and they're trying to work past that foot, it's not very pretty. So he does do a good job of opening his feet. Maybe his base gets a little bit too wide right here. You can see that this leg is really extended, so he's not going to create a lot of force off of that foot. So I like to see that foot be a little bit more under his frame, but he hops outside of that quick penetration with a tight end tries to seal him to the outside, kick him out, whatever you want to call it. And he tries to hop outside, which he does. He gets outside of him, but at the same time, he doesn't maintain his balance. So you'd like to see him maintain his balance right here with a little bit better of footwork to get to the outside right there in terms of, like I said, that foot being really far outside of his frame. So it's going to be hard for him to really work those strips through because you're not creating a lot of explosions. So he gets outside. He's just not able to maintain his balance, which if he was, maybe he can cut up field right here through this gap and get a few extra yards, but he's not able to. But again, it's a play where, because of the quick penetration, could have easily been a run stuff, yard loss, no gain, that he turns into, a 2-3 yard gain. So it's still a good play. And he's a guy who's ready. He's ready. He looks like he's ready right off the bat. I don't think he's a guy who's going to need a ton of development. Even his pass protection, like he is good in pass protection in terms of, I think, IDing the guys he needs to block. He just has to work on his technique a little bit more in terms of ducking his head or hands coming wide or whatever. I will show that relatively soon. Okay. So you have a one back power. I like the patience here. He's following his pulling guard. He's reading the defensive end right there, the 4-eye. And he's going to see he is evaluating the block right here. So he's going to really read this guy. He's hoping he spills it right here because it's going to be hard for him to cut up field right here with this guy who's pretty much uncovered. So he sees the defensive end spilling the run where he's taking on the inside shoulder with his inside shoulder. So he's spilling. He wants to get outside. He wants to get outside. And he reads that, gets his hand on the back, is patient, sees the 97 outside, cuts upfield, and then again, like I said, falling forward for extra yards. So he's contacted right here at let's call it the 46. Even if you want to be not as giving, you want to call it the 47, he gets an extra 3 yards by falling forward right there, and he really works for extra yards. Now, you definitely want to be careful with putting his arm down like that because that could lead to broken elbows, or broken wrists, broken elbows. It can lead to some shoulder issues. So you do want to be careful stopping that much force going down on the hand like that. But he's young enough. He hasn't had any issues with his wrist or anything like that, I don't think. But falls forward extra 3 yards. So good job right there from Perine, reading that block, staying patient, working forward for extra yardage. All right, play number 6. He's gonna come out of the backfield on this like angle route. I'm not sure if it was an option or if it was meant to be an angle route because of the way it was designed. With it's almost like a drag and follow. This is like a levels concept right here, where you're gonna obviously have him and the tight end right here on the deeper slant, short post, whatever you want to call it, working at different levels. So if this linebacker is to jump underneath, you can go over top. If he jumps over top, he goes underneath. So it looks like it was designed to be like this. The linebacker is stuck in. He's definitely not in a good position right here. He definitely hops too far outside. I don't know if it was like first in, first out with that safety right there. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I would look to the rest of the defense to evaluate that, but looks like he might have been man outside of man on Perine. He just hopped outside. Perine is able to get underneath on the angle. Again, nothing too special right here. Catches the ball. The only thing I would criticize right here is him not looking in the ball. Even though he does catch it, you can see how his eyes flash upfield before he catches that ball. You really want to look that ball in. Again, that's what leads to a lot of drops. Not from him. He does have solid hands for sure. But if there is one criticism of this play, it's that he's not looking the ball in. He's able to tuck it and truck forward for the touchdown. Decent route. There's really not much he needs to do here with the linebacker widening out that much. So it's not like a really sharp break, or he doesn't square up the guy and give him any footwork at the route break. He's pretty clean off of that. But again, I'd like to see him look in the ball, but I'm just showing some of his route running ability. Touchdown right there. It's solid. Counter OF. That's a different look. Yeah, so counter OF. I'm not sure who he's reading right here it was a Chase on and 8. I don't know who 8 is. I'm not good with numbers sometimes, especially if I don't look at them before, but like in terms of like evaluate these guys. So I like that he's staying patient right here. His eyes are reading what they should, and he's staying patient enough to read the block. So you could see how he sees that both of his pullers are going to have inside leverage. These guys are outside, and if they don't get inside of if the pullers don't get inside of them, that's the issue, because that's how the blocks are setting up. So good job staying patient, reading the leverage of the backers right here, getting his hand onto the hip of the pulling tight end right there onto the Mike backer. So he kind of forces his tight end into the backer right there, which is nice. Gets contact from the D. I don't know who that is on the inside, but he's a big fella, number 72. Gets contacted there. I like that when he's coming into contact with multiple guys, you can see his hand go on the ball with both arms, which is a positive, and falls forward. So this play is really about patience and reading the Mike right here, and the Emal, the edge defender, and you can see that he's pretty patient and sees the block setting up, gets his hand on, accelerates forward. Again, I think his acceleration is actually pretty decent right here too. Like he might not have top end speed, but his acceleration through holes is definitely pretty good. So I like that play from Perine right there. One back power slips tackle. All right. It's going to be the left side. Yep. All right. So good chunk of yards right there, obviously. So there's really not much you could do here in terms of making more yardage, like initially, because one back power. The DN does a good job right here, sucking up 2 blocks and not really creating a lot of movement, because ideally these guys want to block up to the backside right here, because this backer should be getting contacted by the one back, the puller right here. So you want 67 versus the number 6. You want him to kick out number 3 right there, and you want these 2 guys to work to the backside linebacker, the loose linebacker, as some would say, right here. So they're not able to. You see 61 try to come off of that and block up to him. So he has outside leverage. He's going to have outside leverage as he squeezes the run right here. That linebacker, which is opening up number 8. So there's not much Perine could do right here. So he is going to concede the rush right here, and he just drops his shoulder. Good job getting low right here, covering again. Come into contact, 2 arms on the ball. Ball security is very, very important. You see a lot of running backs lose their jobs because they're not able to hold on to the ball. So good job right there. You see some of the power working through that tackle, and he thinks the rush is going to be pretty much over right here. Nobody ends up getting contact onto him after number 8 right there, or good contact onto him. His eyes flash. He breaks the tackle, and this is pretty much okay. Instincts. Where the hell am I going to go right here? Turns upfield as quick as he can. High knees it through another tackle and gets outside. So I'm trying to be courteous of the quick rewinds and stuff like that, but we do have to watch the play. So when I do it quickly, I should warn you, because people have complained about that before, but it is what it is. So good job right here. Ball security working through an arm tackle, hops through another tackle, gets outside, breaks another tackle with that high knee. And again, a rush that could easily have been, let's see, 1, 2, maybe 3 yards. He turns into 5, 10, 15, about 20 yards. So good job right there on that one back power right there from Perine. Perine. I think it's Perine. And I should say Perine, because I think that's how his brother's name or his cousin's name is pronounced. But so I'm gonna call him Perine. All right, he's in the top right here. This is just an example of his hands. It's not necessarily the craziest break or anything like that. They clear out down underneath right there with the slot fade or vertical route from number 84. So I'm not sure exactly what the defense was here, but 24 and 3 were not. They didn't have good communication. They didn't pass it off correctly because Perine is absolutely wide open underneath. But the quarterback throws it behind him. So the quarterback throws it behind him. He has to reach back for the ball. His hands look like they're in decent position. He does catch the middle of the ball, so you see his hands a little bit tighter. I'm not going to kill him for that. He's not a receiver. And it is thrown behind him, so good job catching it behind him. Now you have number 8 right here who comes in and throws a big shot to him, and he's able to bring the ball in for that first down. I think it's a first down reception on 2nd and 10. So good job by him taking that blow. There's a lot of running backs who will catch this ball and drop this because of that hit. So I like the fearlessness to go over the middle, reach back for a ball that is behind him. There's a lot of guys here who might see this linebacker and kind of chicken arm this and throw one arm back, but lower their shoulder to absorb that blow. But he does give his body up right here where he's going back with 2 arms, really opening up those ribs if you were to get over here quicker, and then absorb the blow and still hold on to the ball. So I like that catch from Perine. All right, next play. Another duo. Florida did run a lot of duo, a lot of power, a lot of counter. They did run some zone, but I would say they're duo heavy type team mostly from what I watched. At least the plays I recorded is a lot of duo heavy type stuff. All right, yeah. So you have like another could be no. I would call it duo with this guy being like a sifter, an alley blocker, and he takes a handoff. Quick penetration again from the 4-eye right here. So good job by the 4-eye disrupting this play. Perine sees that. Again, now could he have noticed this a little bit sooner and shortened his stride a little bit before the mesh point here? Yes, I think so. In my opinion, because you can see how he takes the handoff at whatever yard marker this is. Let's say, it's the 14-yard line, and then he hops forward all the way to the 12 to cut outside. So there are more sudden breaks than that in terms of sinking and getting outside of this that I've seen from other running backs. Again, it's not bad. It's just not the most sudden cut I've ever seen. He's able to drop his hips. You can see he does a good job. Outside foot opening up outside. Again, you can't. It's gonna be hard to work over a toe that's pointed inside. You can't really get your hips to open. It's just mechanics of the body. So good job opening up the hips right there. The right foot is not so far outside of the frame. Hops outside of that. Throws a stiff arm. Breaks an arm tackle. And then he sees that this linebacker right here is going to be coming hard over the top, so he cuts inside of him. So good job right there, just being a baller and reading leverage, reading angles. It's really important for running back. And then Chason is able to just hop outside right here, which is super odd, but he sees that in his peripheral vision, lowers his shoulder, again, throws out the forearm, shock absorber right there, trucks through him, and falls forward for almost to like the 6-yard line. So gets to the 6-yard line on what could have been with a running back with bad vision, if he or with bad instincts, if he sees this penetration and maybe tries to just cut it up here to the B gap. I think it's the B gap right into 6 and just concede the rush and get maybe a yard or two. He is able to read his blocks. And be aware that this side may be open because you have this sifter, the alley blocker, and whatever he was designed to do right here. I wouldn't necessarily call it an alley block because this guy's on the D end, so I'd call it more of like a sift. And good job right there breaking that arm tackle. Again, pretty solid play. There's nothing that's super explosive about this player, but I don't think it's super necessary to be super explosive. Obviously, you want explosiveness from a guy, and being able to cut quickly and top end speed is good, but I don't think it's required to be a good running back. Again, I don't think he's going to be Barkley or any one of these guys, the top flight guys, but there's plenty of 1A, 1B guys who have his type of skill set. So he's a safe guy. I understand that some guys wanted it was named McFarland or one of these guys who are more explosive, but if they think this guy's the best running back for their system, for more of an inside zone type system, a guy who could read blocks, read leverages, read hats, and get through holes and be a safe player, I'm fine with this pick. I like Perine more than other people do. I think people just look at the combine scores and things like that and just I don't want this guy, which I think is crazy. He's a pretty solid running back. So another duo right here with the same thing with that sifter, the alley blocker, more of an alley block in this scenario. Even though it might not necessarily might have been designed that way, they might have been expecting this linebacker right here to sit down and he would have kicked him out as 84 works back to number 8 right there. But he came inside with the tight ends, so you can call it he does sift underneath, but call it whatever you want. So another duo takes the ball. The run is designed to be able to cut back like this with all these down blocks. Legacy 56 do a better job right here. Again, you want to work outfield then in more than just work laterally, especially with this guy being able to scrape over the top, and you're going to see that. So I like to see 56 do a better job right here, the backside tackle, but story for a different day. So he cuts back, reads the leverage of the blocks, gets outside. He has inside leverage on number 3, whoever, I think it's number 8, sorry. Sees the inside leverage of him. He does a good job setting up his block right here too. You see, the good thing I like about this is he knows he's going to cut inside right here, in my opinion, and he doesn't press inside quickly. If he presses inside quickly, what is this linebacker going to do? The linebacker's going to fight to get over the top, and now you have this guy filling inside and number 3 outside right here. So good job of him widening out that rusher right there, the linebacker, whoever he is, the linebacker. So he widens out that linebacker and then cuts inside. So I do like that he sets up his block right there. That's for sure what he's doing right here. Wants to widen him to get inside. So really, really good job right there. Fights through a one-arm tackle. Falls forward for an extra 2 or so yards. So good job by Perine. Red zone. Yeah, this is a weird play. So you have it's like a flat 7. This guy's gonna run a 7. He's gonna run to the flat. I'm not sure if it was designed for him to break it flatter along the goal line, if he was told to sit it down. But they end up, obviously you don't want 2 guys in this small of a space together. So I'm not sure exactly why this happens. I'm not sure. It looks to me like Perine sees number 8 carry the tight end, and he's just going to sit it down. And if number 5 was able to put it on not such a high trajectory right here and such like a lollipop, it would have hit him right in the chest. And 8 has his hips open, so he's just going to sit it down. It looks like he just adjusts to the play right here, where he sees nothing out there and he's just going to sit it down. But obviously, because the ball is such a high trajectory, he has to try to high point it and make a contested catch. So the ball gets tipped up, and good concentration right here to be able to bring the ball in and just trap it to his chest right there and fall to the ground. So good play right there from Perine again. I think he sees the leverage of 8 and tries to set it down, but because of the trajectory, he has to obviously track the ball. So good touchdown catch. All right. Another duo, at least that's what I labeled it. Pistol set. Yep, another duo. Okay, so let's watch. Oh, sorry. Quick rewind. Obviously, he takes the handoff, and I really like how he sets up his break right here. You're going to see he notices the linebacker coming down at this angle right here, and he's going to get him to go to the inside right here. You can see how he kind of presses the inside. He really sets up his angle right here, which is good. Patient, obviously, waits for him to close ground. Jump cuts inside. I like the eyes. Jump cuts inside. Eyes flash outside. He sees the edge crashing down. Sticks his foot in the turf. Burst up field. I like how also on this play he's expecting that leg, the contact in the legs, and he's really, really light on his toes right here. When you're light on the toes, you're able to absorb and kind of step out of tackles more. If you're heavy on your toes, they're going to contact more of your where your power is and your base, and you're going to go down. So I like that he's light on his feet right here, absorbs that, and is able to fight forward for another couple of yards. So again, it's a handoff where him getting the ball and not the most ideal position. Number 56 doesn't expect him to penetrate so hard through that. Sets up his block. It's that little subtle of him moving inside right here to force him to go inside to get outside is really, really nice. It's really, really small, but that's really, really nice. Patience, gets inside. Jump cut. Breaks another leg tackle. Light on his feet. Turns forward, another 2 extra yards because of those legs turning right there. So I like that. This is a pass block. A lot of movement right there from that from that front where they run this like this cross dog right here from the linebackers, and then also it's like a double stunt right here where you have these two guys coming outside of the cross dog, and then this guy from the outside looping all the way inside as well, I believe. And he has to fill the inside, so he's blocking. They're sliding. He's blocking inside. He's filling on the inside, and he takes on this linebacker. Now with this block, you see how he ducks his head and his hands are wide. I would definitely like to see him keep his head up right here and shoot into the chest, and not necessarily just duck his head. He does absorb it, which will work. You know, if he's gonna take that on in the NFL, it might work a little bit less. It depends on how much he's on the quarterback's toes. If he's on the quarterback's toes, he will get blasted back into the quarterback. But because he has himself some room right here, the quarterback is able to get rid of the ball. Now, not the best throw from the quarterback in terms of his mechanics, but story for a different day. So I like to see him just keep his head up a little bit more right here. But again, he does fill and he takes on the linebacker. So it's an example of him doing what he should do, but I like him just block a little bit cleaner, because in the NFL, you start ducking your head and throw wide hands versus guys, it's not going to be as successful. So he's a good route runner overall, and I shouldn't maybe even put this in here because I don't want people to get the wrong opinion of him. This is not a good route from him on the bottom. As he runs like this quick hitch for many reasons. Obviously, is not committing to his break. If it's if you want to call it like a quick 1-2 at the top, a drop pop, whatever people call it, you'd like to see him really commit to that stop step right there, sink his body into the step, and then explode off of the right foot, which is going to be upfield right here, and then work back to the ball. You could see that he hops into his break right here. Literally hops into it, so there's no commitment at all. His eyes are already out, his body's already out, and he really drifts upfield right here. Now the quarterback, you'd like to see the quarterback put it more to the inside right here and short as upfield, because obviously he has this guy over top, so you'd like to see him put it shorter. So not a good throw by the quarterback in terms of just reading that play or reading the leverages. But overall, it's not the best route from him. Now, even if he was supposed to work to the 30-yard line, and that was his destination, you'd like to see him sell a little bit deeper here. Then, if that is where he needs to get for the pass, then take an extra step or two upfield, and then really commit to that stop step and work back to the ball. But because look at his body language, see what I'm saying? So that body language really leads that corner, safety, whatever he is on this play. Yeah, it just looks like a cover too. So it's probably a corner. That body language is really telling the corner that he's looking for the ball right there. So I would like to see him sell deep and make a better break right here. So I don't like that route from him. Obviously the ball is deflected into the air. So needs to do better on that one. I don't want to give people the wrong impression. That was just a bad play out of what overall for Perine is a pretty good route runner overall. Quarterback power right here. I don't think this might be my last example of this. Again, I'm just showing that he will block guys, but again, you see what I'm saying with the technique right here? How he's really sitting down and just throwing wide hands and ducking his helmet into him. Ducking your helmet into guys like that it's not safe. You get neck injuries when you're going to flatten your head out like that and they contact the top of your head and it, kind of absorbs the shock through your spine. That's how guys really hurt their necks and their disc and all that stuff. So they seem to see his throw his head up into there. But I do like that he's attacking the inside of this guy. He's not widening out too much. You're going to see a lot of running backs, try to get flat, square up. And then this guy's going to be able to scrape over the top, work inside, which would blow up the power. So I like that he's taking on, he's making sure he's covering the inside first. So good job with his angle right there, but could have been a better block. Now he does block the guy, but again, could improve. So quarterback works upfield and gets a couple of yard gain right here. So good overall in terms of like his angles and stuff like that, and being a willing blocker. We'd just like to see him keep his head out of the block a little bit more right there. All right. Some good and some bad on this play. As he presses the front side of this play, this is really an example of I would like to see him more in control of his feet right here and a little bit lower. You can see how his feet are really like high knees and and not really under control. So I like to see him be a little bit more in control right here as he's reading the blocks. You could see that the defensive, the nose tackle right here uncovers a little bit, and it takes him a little bit to get outside of him. So overall on this play, shorter stride, more in control of his feet, a little bit lower, I think would be good. But he obviously sees that the nose tackle uncovers, stiff arms him, now sees the defensive end right here, get off the block of 84, get inside with that rip, lowers his shoulder into him. His right arm comes off with a stiff arm. Two hands in the ball, even though he initially absorbs it with just that one arm, so he's not covering with two right there because of the stiff arm. But lowers his shoulder, trucks over him. Now the nose tackle's on his back. Churns for like I don't know, a 5-yard gain or so. So maybe 6. So again, more control of his feet, a little bit lower right here instead of those big steps right there, but gets inside, stiff arms a nose tackle, lowers his shoulder versus a defensive end, trucks him over, and then carries a nose tackle on his back for a few yards. So good play. Again, could clean up a little bit with some of the stuff right there, but overall, I would give that a plus. Catch adjustment. Okay, so let's see what this is. I don't know if he's designed to be blocking inside out right there and check and release, but he gets outside pretty quickly. Gets outside, sits it down. He obviously sees that the quarterback is rolling out to his left side, so he adjusts right here. I like that the awareness right here. Sees his running back running to the outside, knows the ball is most likely to be coming outside because of the inside pursuit. Checks upfield to see what's surrounding him. Should he sit it down? Should he continue to break out to the side, outside? Should he cut it upfield maybe a little bit, get a little bit deeper to avoid this inside guy? So I like that he checks outside. The ball is floated over his head, catches the ball. Little head fake stab inside. Accelerates past number 35 right there. The strong, it looks like a strong safety or a safety. Nice run. I'm gonna rewind, so let's watch this in full speed. Again, I like the check up field right here. The catch, the stab inside to that, to the safety right there. Arm tackle, breaks another tackle, the little stiff arm and hop, gets outside for a pretty big gain right there on that check and release. Okay, yeah, effort. I like the effort from him right here on this screen. So ideally, you would like to see the quarterback right here on this screen put the ball lower. That's not necessarily the easiest position right here because the DM, the emo, whatever he was, I didn't watch him before the play. The edge crashes in hard, so he doesn't want to get the ball deflected. Ideally, it's not high. Now, with this, did he have to jump? Maybe not. So you'd like to see him eliminate that jump right there and maybe be a little bit more under control and just catch the ball and burst upfield. But it's kind of like in that tricky spot where should he jump, should he not jump? So he ends up jumping. Ideally, you don't see him jump. Ideally, you don't see the ball high. It is what ends up happening. Gets contacted quickly as soon as he lands on the ground, lowers his shoulder. Breaks out of that tackle. He spins out of it. Another defensive lineman comes to tackle him. Churns. So he breaks one tackle, spins out of that. Another defensive lineman's tackle, lowers his shoulder against that. Continues to turn upfield. Another guy comes in, lowers his shoulder versus that. Another guy comes in, lowers his shoulder versus that, and continues to turn forward for extra yards. So he gets to whatever yard marker that is. Let's see where that is. Like the 37-ish. So he gets basically back to the line of scrimmage right here on what should have been a 5-6 yard loss because he breaks 1, 2, 3, 4 tackles and continues to turn forward for extra yards. I really like that effort. Really like that power. I like that his legs are turning for sure. Dropping his shoulder versus guys. So he has really good contact balance. He has good power. for sure. I don't think he's like a power back necessarily, but his contact balance is definitely good. You could definitely break some tackles. He's not Derrick Henry, but he's solid at all areas, and I'm fine with that being for a running back. He doesn't have great power. He doesn't have great cutting ability. He doesn't have great speed, but a do-it-all type guy is fine. I think he's going to be successful in the NFL. Right here, he runs a fade versus the linebacker. Now, I like with his stem on the top of the screen. If I went too quick right there, stems inside at him, flat versus flat-footed linebacker, breaks outside. You can see I like how his arm comes up here also. And I pointed to it, like you guys can see my finger. But I like that his arm comes up right here just in case the linebacker, the safety. Actually, it might be a safety right here, number 32. It's hard with numbers in college football. The linebacker, the safety, whatever he is flat-footed. He's preparing for that contact, and if his arm was to shoot right here, he's going to chop that down. So I like the preparation right there with the arm just in case there is contact. Tracks the ball. I have the different angle of this too, and he makes the catch. So now, ideally, again, you see how his hands are super wide right here, and he claps the ball instead of being that diamond catch that we talked about a lot with Mims, and Mims is really good at that. But he's not a receiver, so I'm not going to kill him for it. You could see his hands be a little bit more clean right here instead of as wide as they are. So that's the one criticism I would have. But again, stemming I think he's a safety. Could be a linebacker again, but stemming him inside right here, nodding inside, and then getting to the outside and having that arm up, I like that route from him. Could have been a cleaner catch, but at the same time, he catches a fade in the corner of the end zone, and he's able to keep his foot in bounds. So catch the ball and gets his foot in. Wouldn't have been a catch in the NFL, but that's not what he needed to do. It's college. You need to get 1 foot in. He got 1 foot in. And I like that he catches the ball and he turns away from the hands right here too, and he's able to bring it in. So good job right there from Perine for sure. All right. I think this is one of the examples, as I labeled it, of Perine conceding his rush a little bit too early. Overall, though, I'm going to take a guy who concedes too early versus a guy who concedes kind of too late. He's not a guy who's going to dance around in the backfield and lose a ton of yardage. He does overall do a good job of knowing when to concede and just fall forward for 2-3 yards instead of dancing and losing a couple of yards in the backfield. So gets the toss. He's reading the backer right here, and he sees that he's really reading number 72 right here as he presses upfield. Continues to read 72, continues to read 72, continues to read 72. Now, what I would like to see him do on this play, and I'm not going to kill him for it because, you know what, maybe he wouldn't have gotten outside. I would like to see him at this point, his eyes continue to scan. You could see that he just presses up the field and just kind of just takes what's available. On this play, I would like to see him press a little bit more outside, read 84 as well, read this backer, because his eyes really stay locked on to this back right here. I'm just going to get blocked by 72. I would like to see him come in more control right here and then bounce it outside, because I think he could have right here. This is, again, if he were to press it upfield here, be a little bit more in control of his feet, as soon as this guy comes over the top, then bounce it outside. So I think he could have. I'm not going to kill him for it because it would really take, like, that's not an easy play to make, to be completely honest. I don't want to kill him for it, but he does concede a little bit too early. And the backside backer right here is able to fill and make the tackle versus Perine, where I think he could have pressed a little bit more outside right here and made this guy come over top and then bounce it outside and have a foot race with this guy to the sideline. And there's a lot of room right here. So I think he could have conceded that a little bit. I think I did concede that a little bit early on that play. Power, set up blocks. Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty good run. Takes the handoff on the power, like I said. Reads the block. This guy is not coming over the top. He's staying outside. He's going to squeeze the run. He widens out a little bit to set up his block. Cuts up field. Sees the hole right here. Pretty big hole. Cuts up through the hole. And I like that you could see his eyes flash outside right here, and he's seeing that the crack block is coming right there to the safety. And he's going to square up the safety right there and be patient. You don't want to see him get too far outside because you don't want to slip underneath of this. So good job squaring this guy up as he's reading this block coming in from the receiver. Gets outside of that with that high leg. Really hops outside right there and gets outside. Sees the other defender coming, lowers his shoulder, 2 arms on the ball as he comes into contact, falls forward, fights for an extra couple of yards. So really nice play right there from Perine on that power, setting up his blocks, especially the one in that open field. The first one wasn't anything too special, but that one in the open field was definitely nice, not being too hasty and getting outside and letting his receiver work on that crack. Tight zone, belly zone. Takes the handoff, works to the backside, where the belly zone is really designed to go to the backside. It's zone blocking, but you're designed to go to the backside. So I'm gonna call it more belly than tight right here, because tight's really just off the A gap, off of the inside or off of the hip of the guard, of the tackle. Off of the center. Like I said, losing a ton of sleep and trying to get through this, but that is definitely the center. I might not be the brightest guy in the world, but I do know that's the center. I do know that's the guard. So belly zone, reads his blocks, gets outside. Now I really like this part of it. I definitely like this. So he gets to the backside. He knows that his left tackle is going to peel off right here and block this, block the backer. If I want to call him the will, I'll call him the will. So he blocks. He's going to peel off and block the will backer. I like that he widens out right here. So he's reading this, and he has enough vision to understand that this guy is inside. He has a hat inside. He has a hat outside. So how is he going to widen him out to get inside of this B gap? He can't just press into that hole, because then he might stack him and push him into him, and there's not going to be a lot of room for him to squirt through this B gap right here. So he widens him, breaks inside of it. Really, really nice right there. Again, in a short area, to be able to decide that he's going to hit this gap. When does this look open? Obviously no, but he's reading hats. Inside, widen, and then get inside. Really nice play right here. Widen, get him inside. Works through kind of just the bump right there from the defensive lineman. Sees this guy working downhill. Hips open inside. If his hips are open that far inside, he's not going to be able to get back to the inside. If his hips are open that far outside, he's not going to be able to turn to get to the inside right here. So he drops his hips a little bit, not too much, not really at all. 2 arms on the ball, hops inside of him, and falls forward for an extra yard or two. So good job right there, setting up that block for sure. I really like that play. Sets up block vision, 24 out of 35 plays. Right, another power. Again, similar to last play. He's really, or not one of the other plays. Not necessarily. This is power, so it's obviously different. But a lot of space right here. But he doesn't know if this linebacker is going to declare outside or inside. So he stays patient right here. Sees that the linebacker is widening out. Hand on the pulling guard, cuts inside of it. He's not too quick to cut inside and him work out. The linebacker react inside. He's not too quick to work outside. The linebacker try to work to get to the outside. He lets the block develop. He lets him declare. Gets inside. This guy's working over the top. And then this linebacker from the backside, safety, whatever he is working over top. 61 is underneath of him. Cuts underneath and inside of that. Doesn't really pick up much more yards because of it, but I like his open field decision right there. Helmet hits the refs a little bit too right there. That probably hurt his form. So good job overall. I definitely like his patience in the backfield to let his block set up right here. He doesn't declare too early, which is forcing the linebacker to make a decision, where the linebacker is in a much more tough position than Perine is, but he doesn't want to, again, declare too early and kind of not take advantage of his block. So good job setting up his block right there, working back to the inside. Next play. Something out of nothing. By the way, just looked at myself in the camera. Some people say I look like Sam Darnold's younger brother. One, I'm older than Sam Darnold, so I'll be his older brother who looks like a baby because that's just the traits I got. Again, looking young when you're my age is not necessarily good, but when I'm 40 and look like I'm 30, it's a good thing, unless I just age really quickly and I don't take advantage of those years, which is probably my luck. But I don't know if I look like Sam Darnold. But that's something I've seen multiple times now in YouTube comments. But whatever, I get it's better than looking like Clutchy Osemele or Jonathan Harrison or Vlad Dukas or whoever else have been really ugly Jets. All right, toss to the outside. Reads his blocks, gets the toss immediately. He has quick pressure from the A gap. This number 67 gets backward again. Quick penetration. Everybody's flowing hard to the play side right here. What does he do? He reads that, continues to widen. Again, he has really nice patience. You don't want to see this and break right inside, because then maybe these guys get inside as well, which I doubt because they're defensive linemen, but he continues to widen, drops his hips. I would like to see him get a little bit quicker inside right here in terms of his feet. So when he's doing this, when he catches this ball, I would like to see him shorten his stride right here and drop his hips a little bit earlier, because you see how he drops his hips and it takes him an extra step to get inside. So you'd like to see him explode inside now, where that left foot has to take an extra step. So this is not the cleanest break inside. I would like to see him shorten his stride here and be more prepared for that cut instead of hopping into it, having to take 2 steps with that left foot. Again, you see how the left foot is pointed inside? His hips are not going to be able to work through that. So you want to see him drop with that foot opened already and get inside, but he's not necessarily in control of his feet right here. He's able to get inside and burst upfield. Again, just little criticisms. Like, got to criticize the little stuff, because it's the little stuff in the NFL that matter. Gets inside of it, cuts upfield through a pretty big gap. Outside as he sees the linebacker. Obviously, he's cutting upfield right here because this is the open gap, but he's going to see the safety, whatever, second level player uncover. Cuts inside of him, lowers his shoulder, 2 hands on the ball. And even when he's falling down, you can see his legs continue to churn for more yardage. Good play. Okay, this is, I say, decent route, ball tipped. He's in the bottom. I like this route. Not necessarily like versus a guy who's not a linebacker right here. You can see that his shoulders are high. So you're expecting a break. Versus a linebacker, you have more leniency to run not the cleanest routes. But what I do like about this is good break step, like B-R-E-A-K, not B-R-A-K-E. So I like that step. Now, maybe he's lunging into it a little bit too much. Actually, I would say that. So I think that could be a little bit more powerful. But I really like this drive step. You know how I always talk about the drive step getting underneath the frame? A lot of running backs would have that first break step, and then their drive step would be really far outside of their frame, and they're going to round this route out. Maybe the linebacker gets his hands on. But I like the tightness of his break right here. Getting that drive step under his frame right there is really, really good like that. Now the ball gets tipped at the line, but he is open on the slant versus that the safety, the linebacker, wherever the hell he is. It's so hard to tell. It looks like a linebacker. He's a pretty big dude. Yeah, he's definitely not a safety. I would not call him a safety. He's a linebacker. But so it could have been cleaner in terms of, okay, well, throw some more power into that step and be a little bit more powerful with that break step, and be a little bit more sell his shoulders a little bit more downfield. But really like that drive step, like I said. Gets inside, ball gets tipped. He was open right here. Would have made that catch. So solid route. Could have been a little bit better, but he's a running back. So I think overall, definitely solid route running. All right. Avoid penetration. Let's see what goes on here. Zone split. Okay. So yeah, the zone split, the fake jet sweep, just creating some misdirection. Leave the email unblocked. That's what the sifter's job is. Number 76 obviously does not do a good job right here. Gets backdoored. Perine takes the handoff with a guy right in his face. Drops his hips. I'm not sure if he opens up that left foot. He's able to get outside. I can't really see that foot right there because of the running back. Now, I mean, because of the guard. Again, is this the most sudden and clean break? No, it's not. But he does a job and he gets outside. There's guys who would drop right here, get their hips and their feet completely under them, and just shift outside where he has to kind of hop outside and backpedal. So it's not the cleanest break, but he's able to get outside that quick penetration. I like that. Gets outside. A stiff arm. Will show me into the stiff arm on 20. Hops through that leg tackle and gets outside to the sideline. So for what looks like a first down. Yep. Okay, so it's first down. Again, really quick penetration on the zone split. Hop outside. A lot of guys. That's a 10-yard gain right there or so on what easily could have been a loss. So good job getting outside right there. Ryan Reed hats. This is when we start going to broadcasting. This is from like highlight tape, or not highlight tapes. This is from like just reps that were on YouTube. Broke down the film. Now here's some of the YouTube angles. Takes the handoff on the zone. I don't want to call it, whether it be mid zone, inside zone. I don't want to declare that definitely because I can't. I don't want to watch it a billion times right now, and two, with these angles, it's a little bit harder. So takes the handoff, reads the hats. Hat outside. He doesn't want to be here because this guy's a hat outside and he's in a fill. So then he reads. I think his eyes are going to flash inside most likely. Eyes flash inside. Hat outside of the center. So he's going to cut back again. So one cut back because of the outside. This outside hat. Upfield, or his eyes get upfield. Hat outside. Inside leverage. He's going to cut upfield again. His eyes flash to this guy. He's going to continue to work upfield. I like that. At least it looks like it. Powers through the arm tackle. You see how he's coming into contact. Drops his shoulder and explodes through right there. He's not taking that contact. He's bringing the contact to that arm tackle. So I like that right there. Works through. Continue. He hops through that tackle, the leg tackle. Or his at least his arms go to the legs. He's carrying guys. So play it in full speed. Reads hat 1, hat 2, gets upfield, lowers his shoulder, explodes through, works the arm tackle, and continues to work upfield for, again, a solid gain on 2nd and 7. Now it's 3rd and 2, really manageable 3rd and 2. Good job by Perine. Long TD run. All right. They do like a pin fold on the backside and zone on the front side of this play. Cuts to the interior gap. The interior gap is obviously open. Takes the handoff, reads the outside, reads this guy, who is obviously his hips are open outside, so he's going to cut inside of that. He doesn't want to cut through this gap. Now, he does end up kind of tripping right here, or I'm not sure exactly what happens. Looks like he trips, or either that. Maybe he doesn't trip, but I don't think he expects the quick contact right there from that backer because 61. He squirts out of 61, so he tries to get outside. Now, he takes on this contact with not ideal situation. He's obviously not – he doesn't have a ton of power because he's not expecting this contact. He just lowers his shoulder, and his feet aren't really set for contact right here. It's not ideal. But he's able to take that contact on, bounce outside, and then just break outside of this guy for the long touchdown. So, huge play versus Auburn. We'll watch it again from a different angle. Pin and fold on the backside. Doesn't expect 33. And again, I'll show it. Reads this inside. So he gets inside of that. Is reading 72. Doesn't expect this quick contact from 33. Takes him on not an ideal position, like I said. 33 is lower than him, but he's able to have power through that contact right there and shuffle outside. Changes his angle right there, breaks in their arm tackle, leg tackle, and runs for 70-something yard touchdown right there. So good job. Play 30 of 35, one back power, long run. All right. To the left side. pretty nice for a guy who doesn't have necessarily, like I said, I don't think he's a 6'4" player. I think he's a little bit faster than that. So one back power is patient to the hole. He sees that he's spilling. He's going to get to the outside. Again, hat outside or hat outside, hat inside. So he's going to cut through that B gap. And a good job widening right here too. He doesn't attack this so early where this guy who's spilling is going to get an arm on, and this guy's not going to scrape harder over top too quick. So good job of him widening out a little bit right there. Cutting inside, short stride shuffle right there. Good job. Sees the DB on his hands, on his knees. He just trips. Panics a little bit right there, gets inside of that. Good long speed. He's checking that safety, the cornerback, whoever it is. He accelerates past them and up the field. Long touchdown. I'll play it from the beginning, but good job reading hats right there and bursting through the hole that he's afforded. Again, is he a blazer? Is he Tariq Cohen? No, but he definitely has like functional speed to be an effective running back, in my opinion. I think I would like to have maybe I'll become friends with the Jets running back. I need to become friends with Jets offensive lineman and become friends with the Jets running back. Who else I need to become friends with? Maybe tight end. But we have Marcus Coleman for secondary players. So maybe even tight ends he can handle. We have Westerman now for hopefully defensive tackles, DNs, outside linebackers, maybe middle linebackers. But I need to expand my horizon. Maybe be friends with a middle linebacker, a tight end, a running back, offensive lineman, a quarterback. I have some other guys who could who came on here that one time for quarterbacks. Mark Schofield, like my second show ever, came down and break down like a freaking 100 plays of Sam Darnold, which I appreciate him for. So, and I think my first show ever. So I had my first show ever with TOJ Film. Not my first show ever. This is breaking down film first show ever. That's not necessarily true either because I was breaking down film with Jet Nation. But first show for TOJ, did it with like Scott, like something about off-season crap, whatever. One of the shows that everybody else does. And the second show I did with Mark Schofield, breaking down quarterbacks, and we recorded like 2 hours on Sam Darnold and Teddy Bridgewater and McCown or whatever that show was. Ended up not recording the entire show. And I messaged him like, hey man, I'm really sorry. Could you do it again? That 2 hours went to waste, and he actually came on and did it with me. So I'm sure he doesn't listen to the show, but shout out to Mark Schofield. Good dude. Recorded 2 hours twice because I was an idiot and didn't record the first one because I guess I was nervous. It was like my second show doing film, at least for TOJ. So fun little story. 31 absorb contact. All right, so they run. He runs the hitch on the top of the screen right here. They run the hitch with the slot fade. Good feel for where the contact's going to come from. Obviously, ideally, you're not going to spin inside. If you're going to spin inside, there's going to be more guys pursuing from the inside. You want to spin outside, so good job spinning outside, feeling that the cornerback, the linebacker, wherever the hell he is. Again, good job going top heavy right here. When you're lighter on your feet, you're going to be able to hop through more things. If a lot of your weight is on your toes, when they contact you in your lower body, it's going to be harder to work through it. So you want to stay light on your feet. So good job staying light on his feet. Stiff arm, drops his shoulder, hops to the leg tackle, accelerates forward for the touchdown. Good job. Couple of plays left. 4 plays left. Press inside, burst outside. All right. Don't really care what the run play is. I don't feel like going over that. Could be like a belly zone, tight zone duo. I'm not trying to read all these hats right now. Takes the handoff. Accelerates outside. He's reading obviously blocks right here. He's outside of 14. Not a good job by one pressing up right like that. Anything. This is on one right here. You have linebackers who are gonna fill. If he's the cut up fielder right here through this gap, you have him. He's gonna get tackled. One gets he presses inside. And this is what I should have said at first. Good job pressing inside to bring one into there. Because again, if he was just to cut outside right here, one works over top. He knows this guy is working inside. He knows his tight end right here has outside leverage, so he can cut outside whenever. So good job pressing inside, which brings number one inside. Not a good job by one, but Perine is able to manipulate him, get outside. Obviously breaks towards the sideline right here. Not a tough decision. Works upfield right there. Big gain. So good press inside right there to set up that DB, whoever he was. Not a good job of the DB. That's a negative play for him, but all right. So I labeled this duo, so I'm going to trust myself. All right, looks like duo. You have the quick penetration right there from the 4-eye. A little bit odd right there that this left tackle didn't work right down to him, and then you have the tight end down blocking. So you have the quick penetration. Drops his hips, opens up his left foot, gets outside of him. Now, his hat is inside right here, but he's getting carried outside. The DB is outside. This guy's falling down. This is a big gap. You could read hats. You obviously also read where the guy's going. Just because his hat's inside doesn't mean it's to cut outside. You have to read both the way they're moving plus the hats. So good job reading it. Cuts up field, touchdown. 2 plays left. Block on a flea flicker. Okay, yeah, I remember this play. So he's going to get the handoff right here, or the handoff, and he obviously pitches it back to the quarterback, flea flicker. I really like this block, though, and this awareness from him, and it's little, but it means a lot. I stopped the recording there because I don't care what he did. So I like that when he takes his handoff, he doesn't have tunnel vision. Just okay, hand it off, throw it back to the quarterback. I like that he scans. You're going to see his eyes. He notices the pressure coming right here from that DB. All these guys are locked up in the middle. He's reading this right now, so he knows if there's any pressure, it's going to be from the outside right here. Pitches the ball out or pitches the ball back, and you can see immediately as he pitches it, he knows where the pressure is most likely going to be from. Turns outside, picks up that guy. If he doesn't do that, what happens? Now it's a sack, and you just lost 6-7 yards. But because he has the awareness to read this while he's taking that fake handoff, pitches it again, immediately gets outside, picks up that block. Really, really good block right there. He saves that play. Now it's a first down instead of a 5-6 yard sack right there. Last play, counter OF touchdown. Again, oh yeah, okay. So this is really good and for a few reasons. Counter OF, reading his blockers, spill. This linebacker right here, in my opinion, should not be spilling this. He should be fighting to the outside right here again. Inside pursuit. You want to see this linebacker get outside. But he does not. He works to the inside. Not a good play by that linebacker. Perine reads that, gets outside. Inside hat, him working to the outside. Accelerates to that hole. Now you have the DB come in contact with him at the 7-8 yard line right here and try to drag him out of bounds. Really good power from Perine right here on the sideline to carry him into the end zone, and awareness of the sideline too. Look how I have to move this for me, but look how close his feet are to getting out of bounds right here. Again, this is just lower body power. This guy is hanging on him, and he's able to reach forward for that touchdown. The ball pops out, but it doesn't matter because he already crossed the plane. So really good power. And look how close that foot is right there. This is the closest you're going to get. That's the closest frame. You see green grass between that toe? I do. That's close as it gets, though. I'll play it at full speed. So good job reading hats, getting outside, bursting through the hole. Again, his top end speed might not be the best, but he's like, you see how smooth he is, like through changing angles, how he carries his speed. He's a smooth runner with good contact balance, with good power, with good vision, good route runner. He's a really solid all around guy. So I like Perine. Again, maybe McFarland or whoever might be a more explosive guy, but in terms of being an all around guy who could do everything, I like Perine a lot. He might not ever be Ezekiel Elliott or Derrick Henry, who are guys who are really excel at, Zeke is a really all-around guy. Zeke and Barkley, and those guys are like, they're unicorns. But he might not ever be one of those guys, but he could be a 1A, 1B. You know, I like his chances of being a guy who's going to split the load with another guy more than a guy like McFarland, who might just be a guy who gets 5 carries a game and explosive type plays, which is hard to rely on, like Trenton Cannon type guys, which I'm not comparing McFarland to Perine. I'm hoping I'm using the right example because I think McFarland's a guy who everybody wanted, but I like Perine a lot. Again, good play right here. I read the strengths and weaknesses. Now, how many carries does he get in year 1? I'm not sure because of Gore, because of Bell. I think Bell is going to have a much better year because of obviously the line being better. Darnold stepping up, less loaded boxes for Bell to run against. You have Gore, so where does he exactly fit in? How many carries does he get? I'm not sure. I don't like projecting. You're expecting Bell to get 200, 250 touches. Does Perine get, 3, 4, 5 touches a game? Maybe. But he's a developmental piece for the future. Next year, you're most likely not going to have Bell, even though I'd like to have Bell next year. You have Bell and Gore developing him. He might be the 2. He might be the 3. Not a huge deal, but the Jets did need a running back. And honestly, I like him as that 1A, 1B for the future. Maybe not this year. But their running back room is interesting right now. I heard some of the Devontae Freeman rumors. I don't believe that to be true. Still, I don't think they would bring in Freeman, Gore, Perine, and Bell. I don't see it. I think that's BS. So I think their 4 right now is a competition between Adams, who they signed, and they're going to put him on his practice squad, I believe, but then they thought somebody would poach him, so they actually kept him on the active roster, so that's a sign that they like Adams. And they have Kenneth Dixon, too, who he had a severe injury in 2019, but 2018, his rookie year with the Ravens, he was pretty solid. Like, he has like 5.4 yards per carry. Had a severe injury in 19, so if he bounces back from that injury, him being another number 4 if he's healthy is going to be an interesting battle between Adams and Dixon. But like I said, I think the film shows that Perine's he's not a slow plodding guy who can't make plays. He made some damn good plays. So solid film. Like the pick. I like the player. I mocked him a couple times to the Jets because I like his all-around ability. So thumbs up on this guy. We will be back, or I'll be back in a couple of days with Hall. I'm not sure what day that will be. Maybe Monday or Tuesday, depending on how quick I get the film out. 37 plays of strictly film, all 22 angles of him, which, again, you're not going to find on YouTube anywhere. I don't think anybody else did a breakdown of him who has access to his film. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be back with Marcus Coleman. Again, if you appreciate the show, if you enjoy the show, if you are on YouTube, obviously like and subscribe. There's a lot of people who watch on the website because they get the Vimeo full video instead of watching half of it on YouTube. Again, it's $6 a month, $50 a year. If you can't afford it, you could, I think on the website it actually says you can email Robbie Sabo and you can work out a price with him. Like, listen, there's a guy who emailed us the other day. I'm not giving out names. He's like, oh, I can only afford $20. Okay, listen, if that's the truth and you really can't afford the price, we'll give it to you for $20. But if you're going to be excuse my French, but if you're going to be a douche and say you can't afford it, but you want a lower price, don't do that. But if you're really in struggling situation right now and you can't afford it, email Sabo on the website, and then we'll see what we can do for you. Obviously, we're going to see if we feel you're legit. If you're saying, oh man, I crashed in a train and a bus flipped over, my house lit on fire, I can only afford $5, then I won't believe you. But subscribe, like. If you are watching on YouTube or the website, Vimeo, go to the podcast app. Again, the more reviews and stuff we get on there, the more ratings, the more we get out to people, the more, to be frank, money we get, the more upgrades we make to the website. We have an app, or that should be up in a couple of days, where you're not gonna have to go to the website and type it in. You're gonna have an app on your phone, click on it, you're gonna be able to see the new stuff, get notifications, etc. So all that stuff costs money. So the more subscribers and stuff helps. I appreciate everybody who's been following me since Jet Nation Radio. It's been years of podcasting, from Jet Nation to TOJ, to do more film, to now Jets X Factor from TOJ, where I think Jets X Factor will be my home for quite a while. So I appreciate everybody. Drop those ratings and reviews. I sent a shirt to one of the listeners, Joe Olivo, who's a big supporter of the show. Sent him a shirt. At 75 reviews, I will be doing another free T-shirt and a free year subscription. So drop ratings and reviews, and you'll be entered into the randomizer list to get the free T-shirt and the free year subscription. So that's like $70 value for just your chance at that. Just going to the freaking website or going to the podcast app and dropping "I like the show" 5 stars, and you're entered. Like, that's all I need. So I appreciate everybody, and I'll see you back in a couple of days with the review of Bryce Hall with Marcus Coleman.